Have you ever noticed how quiet the phone gets as the years go by? At first, it's subtle. A missed birthday call. A promise to visit that turns into an excuse. A long pause before someone answers your message, or worse, silence. You tell yourself they're just busy. That things will go back to how they used to be. That family is family, and family shows up. But then the months pass, and you start to realize something no one prepares you for. After 60, you might not be able to count on your family the way you thought you could. This isn't about bitterness. It's about truth. And the truth is, as we get older, we face a kind of loneliness that cuts deeper than most people talk about. Because it doesn't come from being alone, it comes from feeling forgotten by the very people we once poured our hearts into. Your children, your siblings, even your spouse, they have their own lives now. Their priorities shift. Their world keeps spinning faster, while yours gets quieter. And suddenly, what once felt like an unshakable foundation starts to crack beneath your feet. But here's what you need to hear: you are not powerless. You are not left behind. And your life is far from over. In fact, this might be the first time in your life when you finally get to choose what supports you, not out of duty, not out of expectation, but out of truth. Today, we're going to talk about 6 solid, reliable foundations you can lean on after 60, because while family may falter, these don't have to. Stay with me to the very end. Because the 6th one is something most people overlook their entire lives. And yet, it's the one that could give you back your strength, your peace, and your future. Let's begin. Number 1, your daily routine is more powerful than you think. You may not realize it, but the simple things you do each day, the time you wake up, the way you move through your morning, the way you end your evening, these aren't just habits. They're your first line of emotional defense. After 60, when the world around you starts to shift, when the visits become rare and the phone doesn't ring like it used to, routine becomes a kind of anchor. It grounds you. It reminds your body and your mind that life still has rhythm, still has purpose, still belongs to you. Take someone like Jeanette, 69. Her 2 sons live states away. She used to wait for their calls like clockwork, sitting by the window in the afternoons, phone in hand, heart half hoping, half breaking. But one day, she decided to stop waiting. She began each morning with a cup of tea on her porch. 10 deep breaths. A journal on her lap. She started going on short walks at the same time each afternoon. Lit a candle before bed. And slowly, that ache of being forgotten turned into something else: peace. It's not that the loneliness disappeared. It's that she replaced the waiting with living. Routine gives structure to our days when others won't. It gives our nervous system something reliable. And when your environment feels shaky, when the people you once relied on seem distant, having a predictable rhythm to your day is one of the gentlest, strongest ways you can care for yourself. Don't underestimate the power of making your bed in the morning. Of eating at the same time each day. Of choosing when to rest, when to walk, when to listen to music, when to pray. These rhythms might seem small, but they are the spine of your independence. Number 2, your body is still your home. Treat it like one. There's a quiet kind of betrayal that happens after 60, not just by people, but by our own bodies. The aches become more constant. The energy dips. The sleep feels lighter. And it becomes so tempting to give in to that slow erosion, to believe that decline is inevitable. But what if I told you your body is still listening? Even now, your body is waiting for you to pay attention again. To feed it, move it, hydrate it, respect it. It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to know you haven't given up on it. Let me tell you about Thomas, 74. After his wife passed, he spent months in bed, barely eating, barely showering. His daughter visited once a week, sometimes not at all. The silence of the house grew heavier. One morning, he stood in front of the mirror and didn't recognize the man staring back. Not because he looked old, but because he looked forgotten. And not just by others, by himself. That day, he made a decision. He started small, a short stretch. A slow walk to the corner store. Water with lemon each morning. He stopped skipping meals, took a multivitamin, began saying good morning to his own reflection. He wasn't chasing youth, he was reclaiming dignity. Because here's what no one tells you: your body is not just flesh and bone. It is your last, most loyal companion. It's the place where your memories live, your laughter, your tears. And when you care for it, even just a little, it shows up for you in ways your family sometimes won't. So move, eat, stretch, rest, hydrate. Not because someone told you to, but because you deserve to feel safe in your own skin. Especially now. Number 3, your skills and experience still hold value. One of the most painful things about aging is the way the world starts treating you like you've become invisible. People speak over you. Technology moves past you. Your advice is brushed off. And worst of all, you begin to doubt yourself, too. But let's be very clear, just because society moves fast doesn't mean it's wise. And just because people stop asking for your wisdom doesn't mean it stopped being valuable. There's a reason you've lived this long. There's a reason you've endured heartbreaks, raised children, navigated losses, paid bills, buried loved ones, built homes, started over, made mistakes, learned from them, laughed anyway. That is a lifetime of experience, and it doesn't disappear just because your phone doesn't ring as often. Take Rosalind, 72. She spent 40 years as a seamstress, working in a small shop downtown. After she retired, her daughters got busy with their own families. She felt useless. She said, "I feel like a coat on a rack, something once needed, now forgotten." But instead of fading into that sadness, she did something brave. She bought a sewing machine again. Started mending clothes for her neighbors. Offering simple alterations for free. Within months, people were knocking on her door, not just for stitches, but for stories. For company. For advice. She didn't wait for someone to hand her purpose. She remembered she already had it. The truth is, your mind still holds treasures. Your hands still remember how to create. You may no longer be needed in the same way, but that doesn't mean you're not valuable. You are overflowing with wisdom. The world may not be listening right now, but that doesn't mean you have to stop speaking, building, offering. Use your voice. Use your skills. Even if it's just for yourself. Especially if it's just for yourself. Because when you begin to see your own worth again, you stop needing others to validate it. Number 4, nature doesn't forget you, reconnect with it. There's a reason we feel peace in a forest, by the sea, beneath a tree, or even just sitting quietly under the sky. Nature has a way of accepting us exactly as we are, without judgment, without expectation, without rushing us. And when human relationships become distant or strained, nature steps in with the kind of presence most people can't offer: consistency. Consider someone like Helen, 76, who once lived for Sunday dinners with her children. But over time, those dinners turned into occasional texts and rushed conversations. The silence of her home began to feel heavier with each passing week. So one morning, she put on her coat and walked to the local park, not to meet anyone, just to sit. To breathe. To listen. She watched squirrels dart between trees. Noticed the way the light filtered through the leaves. Sat by the same bench each morning. It became a sacred space, a quiet ritual. And though the people in her life felt further away, the world itself began to feel closer. What she discovered wasn't just beauty, it was belonging. Nature doesn't care about your age. It doesn't shame your grief. It doesn't hurry your healing. Whether it's a flower on your windowsill, a garden plot in your backyard, or a bird feeder outside your kitchen, the living world invites you to be part of something timeless. Start small. Water a plant. Step outside barefoot. Sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Walk in the rain with no umbrella. Let the world remind you that you are still part of it. When family grows quiet, the earth is still whispering, you are not alone. Number 5, community can be chosen, and that changes everything. One of the biggest myths we're told is that community has to be given to us, that it has to come through blood ties, marriage, children, or a long history. But after 60, it becomes painfully clear just because someone is family doesn't mean they're present. And just because someone is a stranger doesn't mean they can't become family. You have every right to build new connections. To seek out people who see you now, not just as someone's parent, grandparent, or spouse, but as you. It might feel uncomfortable at first. You might tell yourself, I'm too old to start over. I don't know how to meet people anymore. But here's the truth, people your age are longing for connection just like you are. They are in your library, at the walking path, in the back pew at church. They're sitting quietly at the cafe, reading alone, wondering if anyone would notice if they weren't there tomorrow. You don't need dozens of friends. One kindred spirit is enough to change the way your entire week feels. Look at Carlos, 80. Widowed. Children scattered across states. Most of his days were silent, meals eaten alone, TV playing just for background noise. Until one day, he struck up a conversation with the woman who sold him fruit at the market. Her name was Miriam. She had a soft laugh and hands that shook slightly when she bagged his apples. They began meeting for lunch once a week. Just two elders sharing memories, jokes, stories. A small friendship, but it filled a massive emptiness. That's what chosen community is. Not obligation. Not guilt. But connection born from presence. So don't be afraid to smile first. Ask a name. Offer a kindness. Be the hand someone else has been too afraid to reach for. Family can be created, even now. Especially now. Number 6, your inner voice is the steadiest companion you have. Here's the truth most people never say out loud, the most reliable person in your life, the one who will never leave, never forget, never abandon you, is you. Your inner voice. That quiet whisper inside. The one you've spent decades pushing aside to make room for everyone else's needs, wants, and feelings. But now is the time to come home to yourself. There's a strength in you that's never gone away, only been buried under responsibility, worry, guilt, and the weight of being everything to everyone. Now is your chance to let that voice speak again. To sit with yourself and ask, what do I need today? Not your children. Not your partner. Not your friends. You. Think of someone like Doris, 81. Her children barely visited. Her friends had moved or passed. She often sat in the same chair by the window, staring out at a world that seemed to be moving on without her. One day, she opened a notebook and started writing. Not for anyone else, just for her. Memories. Thoughts. Dreams. She started talking to herself kindly. Cooking her favorite meals. Dressing up even if no one saw. She stopped waiting for others to make her feel important and became important to herself. That's the kind of power no one can take from you. When your inner voice becomes your ally, your world transforms. You start feeling safer in your own mind. More anchored. Less desperate for outside reassurance. And ironically, when you stop needing so much from others, you become more open to receiving love, freely, fully, without fear of it disappearing. Because you know now, you are already enough. Final thoughts. After 60, the world doesn't always hold you the way it used to. Family gets busy. People forget. Plans fall through. You start to wonder where your place is, whether you're still seen, still needed, still wanted. But I want you to hear this clearly, you don't have to wait to be chosen. You can choose yourself. Your routine. Your body. Your experience. Nature. Community. Your inner voice. These are not just distractions from loneliness. They are foundations. Stronger than blood. More faithful than promises. Yes, it hurts when the people you love don't show up the way you hoped. That grief is real. That silence is heavy. But it doesn't have to define you. You are still here. Still breathing. Still capable of creating a life that feels whole, not because others built it for you, but because you built it for you. So today, I ask you, which of these pillars will you lean on first? Maybe it's that morning routine you've been meaning to start. Maybe it's finally saying hello to someone new. Maybe it's sitting in the quiet and deciding to speak kindly to yourself. Whatever it is, know this: you're not forgotten here. You're not invisible. You're not done. Thank you for spending this time with me. Your presence matters. Your story matters. And I'm honored to be part of your day. If this message spoke to you, leave a comment below and tell me which foundation you're going to lean on next. Let's keep this circle strong, together. Until next time, take care of yourself. Gently. Fiercely. Because you're worth it.